Detective Pikachu is good, okay? I mean, it's not great, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's pretty dang good. It's a solid attempt to make a movie out of this source material. I dug it. Look, Pokemon has a lot of successful outreach into film and TV. It's kind of different from other video game properties in this regard. I feel this is in part due to it not having to be strictly about a certain human character or be stuck in a singular type of location. It just needs the Pokemon and an element for players and viewers to be invested in. It's a world that can go almost anywhere and speaks to our relationship with nature and animals. In terms of how well to thematically adapt a video game, I'll go on record to say that the first few seasons of the original anime are really good at nailing the Pokemon experience. It's one of the better video game TV shows along with Sonic Sat AM, Castlevania, and that one Earthworm Jim cartoon from the 90s. Taking inspiration from a spin-off title of the same name, Detective Pikachu tells a story that is simple and easy to predict. Both plot and story were never a super important aspect to the Pokemon series. It's about this high-concept world of superpowered animals and the humans that live with them. I do wish the film was a bit more fleshed out plot and story-wise, but as far as something that has always been targeted to a younger audience, it's fine. Like I said, it's character and the setting that makes Pokemon truly great. Justice Smith's Tim Goodman plays a good young adult trying to deal with a conspiracy involving his father's death. Ryan Reynolds voicing Detective Pikachu of the title is proof that Reynolds can carry a film comedically, but also in a more dramatic light. His Deadpool character is good evidence of that. It never really felt like the choice of Reynolds was stunt casting while watching the film. Every other character in the live-action cast is good as well, and none of them feel like they were phoning it in. Even Ken Watanabe doesn't seem to mind being here. The film is going to get the most mileage from fans of and whoever knows about the series. The world presented in Detective Pikachu is really cool and looks great. There's high production design from the creative aspect all around. It's a good example of how to build a good fantasy science fiction world. Sometimes a creature doesn't look authentic or looks off in some shots, but the visual design work is probably the best these creatures were ever going to look in a live-action film. I also like it when the film slows down to focus on the atmosphere or a moment between the two leads in the city. It gives off a neo-noir Blade Runner kind of vibe, which I like. Detective Pikachu is full of fan service, but these moments didn't negatively take me out of the movie or didn't feel organic at any point in the film. For people who aren't familiar with this series, it tries to ease newcomers in, but I think it comes up short. I appreciate that it took time to do so in a way that was efficient, but interesting to people that are already in the know about Pokemon. Admittedly, it does fizzle out by the end with a climax that seems like it was cut down at the scripting stage. The film could have used another half hour or 15 minutes. That's a bummer, but it does remember to be about the relationship between the animals and humans, and how this also influences the relationships between the human characters as well. So many an adaptation comes by where they seem to forget the thematic aspects of the source material. It's these things that make them interesting and makes us come back or leave some part of them in our mind. I would recommend Detective Pikachu for anybody familiar with Pokemon, definitely. If it doesn't interest you in the slightest, there is not enough to sway you in that direction in this film. It's one of the better video game adaptations so far. The bar has been set so low by others, and we have a little while to go before we get a grasp on how to do this sort of thing correctly.